folks, welcome to Nephew and Uncle Basketball Banter, joined with my uncle and co-host David Scholler. All right, Uncle Dave, we're going to get started here with, we talked about him on and off, one of our favorite coaches, Mike Woodson from Indiana. Uncle Dave,
Yep.
he's done
Yep.
at Indiana. What are your thoughts of Coach Woodson and his departure now from Indiana? Obviously, it's a program since Bob Knight's departure has definitely struggled for an identity. I know with Mike Davis, they had a good run after Bob Knight, but they ever since then, I mean, with Tom Crean also, they had some good years, but coachless again once more Indiana. So, what are your thoughts of Indiana basketball?
Indiana lives in the era of a lot of former programs that were good in the 80s, but really haven't been
Yes.
great since.
Yep.
Tom Crean had a good run, but he didn't get that team with Zeller past the Sweet 16, so that hurt him. Then we have, you know, got a guy like Mike Woodson, who's an Indiana alum, who got the team to the tournament 2 out of 4 years and is still on the bubble right now, although now they've fallen off the bubble. But Indiana fans, Assembly Hall's not up to date. They don't not spending the same money as the rest of the Big Ten. That's a fact. Go look it up. I mean, how do you think you're going to in this situation if you're not going to put the money in? This isn't the days of Bob Knight where a kid goes and wants to play for Bob Knight. These are the days of the midnight. I don't get what I want. I'm getting the hell out of here. And even if I get what I want, I think I can get more because some jackass AAU coach is telling me something. And so I transfer schools because maybe 25 minutes a night isn't enough because I don't like the style of offense. So, it's just crazy that
Yeah.
here we are in this situation. It's
Yep.
made the tournament 2 out of 4 years. I don't know what the hell you think you're going to get out of the Big Ten. Ask Chris Collins how many times he's made the big tournament in the last 4 years.
Yep. So he's also Coach Woodson. He's stepping down after the season. He wasn't fired. He's not quitting, but it's a mutual agreement that he'll be done at the end of the season. So
Yeah, but they were going to push him out. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
they can
right.
call it all they want, but if you read the tea leaves, they were going to push him out. So
I
it's
think it was
it's a
one of those
shame.
things, respect for him as a former player and everything. They probably just said, "Look, this is how we're going to frame
Sure,
it for you." So,
sure,
Coach Woodson, we were rooting for him. We both like him, but it's like you said, it's a tough place to win. Obviously, Bob Knight is what made Indiana basketball, not the other way around.
absolutely. But they haven't won since, and you got to ask yourself, it's like UCLA. I mean, it's not the same anymore. I mean, you can have Mick Cronin all you want. It's just not the same.
Right.
You gotta produce, and you know what? They're not producing. So
So your
it's a
prediction for
tough
Indiana
situation.
basketball, you think they're kind of just going to flounder until they make some
Well, we don't know.
substantial
I mean,
changes? Yeah.
you got to put the money in. This is a different world now. You got to put that money in, and if you
Right.
don't, you're not getting it. I don't care who the hell you are. So it's
Right.
not happening.
Coach Woodson out at IU. And
Sure,
we obviously I'm sure not that you were Indiana basketball fan per se when Bob Knight was there, but I'm sure you always you
respected him, yeah.
yeah.
But
So
here you are again. Tom Crean did a solid job. There's been some other guys at Indiana over the years that did a fine job, and you just have no patience with them. You want to win three national championships, but this is a 1976, 81, and 87. So you got to. It's just different times. Look across the way. Look at a program like DePaul.
right.
Right, the
You've
times are
been on this
different.
one for a while, yeah, with the Pauls
Yeah,
not being good for.
you get these smaller, Assembly Hall's beautiful, and I love it for his reverence. But the thing is, like, it's not that big place anymore, and you can argue all you want, but I hate to say it, Ohio State just won a football championship and spent $20 million on the transfers.
Right.
So I mean, that's
Pay
a
to
fact.
play right now.
Yeah. So you're in a situation where I know we all want to get preachy and stuff, but Mike Woodson's an Indiana alum. He looks at it like I want to go to Indiana, but it's
Yeah.
like Chris Mullin when he was at St. John's. He just couldn't believe that kids didn't want to be at St. John's. And
Right.
under the new microscope, Rick Pitino loves it this way because Rick Pitino always wanted to do it this way. So St. John's is good for him. So it's a situation where I just don't know what these people want. I mean, like, first of all, there's 18 teams in the Big Ten, which is not a big 18. And so again, half of them are going to be under 500. And that's the way it goes.
Yep. All right. So we'll see. Coach Woodson, he's been around the game, coaching for quite a while, so I don't know if
Did a good job with the
he'll,
Knicks too.
he'll resurface. You know what? He'll probably bounce around. He'll be an assistant somewhere, I'm sure, in the
Yeah.
future. So definitely we'll continue to root for Coach Woodson. But
I mean, if I'm
yeah,
a guy
no,
like him, I try to get out of like that power four, maybe, and I go to, a little bit of a lower level. I go to
yeah,
like a small
yeah, go to
D1.
a mid go to a
And
mid major or a low D1. Yeah,
yeah,
and you know what? As big college basketball fans like we are, I think we would both agree that college basketball, when Indiana is good, it's just better. It's just
God, yeah, the red and the white, even though it's obnoxious,
right,
it's good.
right. The candy cane striped
Yep,
sweat.
yep,
Can't beat that.
yep,
So
absolutely.
We'll see
Absolutely.
what happens with Indiana with their direction moving forward. So,
Sure.
Uncle Dave, couple big moves at the trade deadline. This Jimmy Butler trade to the Warriors now. Do you think this is maybe the shot in the arm that they need to propel themselves into maybe having a run here this year in the postseason?
I guess they miss Clay a little bit, huh?
Yeah, for sure. So this trade it involves Jimmy Butler to the Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Kyle
Yep.
Anderson, and a protected first round pick. Miami also acquired guard Davian Mitchell from Toronto in the complicated transaction. Golden State additionally traded Dennis Schroeder and Lindy Waters III to Detroit, while PJ Tucker was briefly on the Heat before being shipped to the Raptors for Mitchell. So the big move here though is the Warriors landing Jimmy Butler. So this
I
is
think
maybe
it'll work out for Jimmy. He'll be good in the short term because he got to behave himself. He's running
right.
out of options. But the thing is, like, he's signed it. So I think the Warriors signed him to a 2-year deal, which I don't know, man. I mean, giving him that much money for 2 years, I know Steph's at the end of the rope here, so you're going to try to win one more time, but you're just not going to win in the West like that. So if you're going to mortgage your future after Steph, you're really going to be in it for a long time. I guess you got to go for it and try to win one more time, but that's how you get yourself in trouble for 15 to 20 years. It is a philosophy, so I do respect it if you want to try to win one more time, but at what expense? You know, like I said, Steph is clearly not Steph, and again,
You need to
I
be
love
able to
Steph
take,
Curry.
yeah, you need to be able to take the pressure off him a little bit and have someone else have the ball a
Yeah, and
little
so
bit.
Jimmy Butler can do that,
Yep.
but this whole rumor about playoff Jimmy, I've seen playoff Jimmy have no playoffs too before, so be
Yes.
careful here with this. And he'll be good, and he'll like the style and all this other crap, but at the same time, like you did give up a good player who can get you into offense, and so the bottom line is, are they going to be deep enough? Do they have a post guy that can throw the ball? Man, I like Looney, but are you going to throw the ball into the post to have some cuts off of him? Is Draymond not going to get suspended for kicking someone in the nuts? I mean, what's going to happen here? So
It's
I like,
definitely a risk. It's definitely a coin flip. There's no,
yeah, and you got to do it because you want to stay relevant and you got to fill the building. And Warrior fans are spoiled for the last 10 years. It's been 10 years already since that run started.
it's unbelievable.
And
Wow.
it's how quick that goes. But it's a tough situation. That team started off with was pretty cheaply made with guys like Harrison Barnes still on playing and starting and winning in 2015. But it gets expensive, and their bench is not the bench that they used to have, which is why they really won in the first place. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Pulling David Lee, Iguodala, Livingston, and Barbosa off the bench, and Mo Spates is insane.
Yep.
So yeah, you could talk all you want about all this other crap, but and you do miss Clay. You can, I know he's not the same player anymore. He's got a lot of tread on the tire. I guess you got to do it if you want to go for it. I could see both sides of the argument. Me personally, I wouldn't have done it, but because Butler to me has turned into a little bit of a diva, and without the rings to back it up, I don't think that gets them over the top either. So to me, if you could have added like KD, I do it. But
Yes.
you
Yep.
didn't add KD, you added Jimmy Butler, and now the deadline's over, and this Mark Williams deal just got rescinded. And I was wondering what the hell the Hornets were thinking. Are the Hornets in the business of trying to just suck forever and trying to help the
Yeah,
Lakers? Because
I know.
Mark Williams, I told everybody in college was going to be a stud, and here
Yeah.
we are. He's
He
getting
looks
out. I don't
good.
know. Hey, why is he not playing some nights? I mean, they keep saying injuries, but what's the injury?
Yeah.
Like, and then now some people tell you the Hornets pulled the deal off. Some people tell you the Lakers pulled it off. Well, what's the truth?
Yeah, it's a little mysterious what's going on over in Charlotte. And then we'll talk about, I guess, right now, the whole Terry Rozier thing with the gambling scandal
Oh
there.
God, yeah.
And I know, we've talked about it, I don't know if on our show here, but the gambling thing, that definitely is going to affect not just college, but the NBA, I think, too. The
We
money.
had a Major League Baseball umpire get nailed last week. We've had an NBA ref get scolded again last week. We've had the Terry Donahue thing, which is on Netflix. And if anybody's never seen that, go back and watch the 2002 series as I did live. And all those calls sucked, and we all had to wonder about it. And we were all told we were conspiracy theorists. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know bullshit when I see it. And I'm telling you right now, all those calls, they were shady back then, and they're still shady now.
That game 6 with the Kings and the Lakers, it's rated the worst officiated game of all time.
Yeah,
That
that in
game
the 2004 semifinals between Duke and
Duke and
Connecticut.
UConn. Yes, that's the
Had all
conference
Duke's
one.
big guys fouled out. Three big guys fouled out.
Yeah, we had,
Ridiculous.
I think we had Lou Deng and Nick Horvath even fouled out. So,
Yes. Yeah.
and what it's worth, Uncle Dave, Jimmy Butler had 25 points tonight for the Warriors, and they had a 24-point comeback against the Bulls. So,
Sure.
nice start there for the
Oh no,
Warriors
he'll
with Jimmy
he'll do
Butler.
a good job. But you look at the West; it's so deep. It's like mortgaging your future if you're the Jets right now to get in the AFC playoffs and then deal with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
Right.
and and the stud Patrick Mahomes. So the bad news is you have to try and win. You're kind of on the hook for that, but it's you're in a tough situation if you're in the AFC. So I
I
mean, like
think
you're
they
the
feel like they owe so much to Steph, so they're like, hey, we have to try to get one more out of this if we can. So it's like what the Lakers did with Kobe Bryant. They gave him that big contract at the end of his career when he wasn't
sure,
a Kobe Bryant anymore, and they definitely mortgaged, like you said, their future there for a
sure, and
while.
I get
So
it. I
yeah,
get doing it. I like giving the guy a good bag on the way out the door. But if you wanted to get a guy to try to win, you should have went and got KD because he was available.
well, also I don't know if you know about this, but Kevin Durant, he had a chance to go to the Warriors and he smacked that down. So he did not want to go
Good
back
for
to
him.
Golden State. I
Okay, good
think,
for him.
I
I was
think,
hoping the Knicks would grab him.
yeah. So I think that it was, yeah, with KD,
Okay.
he shut down a trade that would have sent him back to Golden State and Jimmy Butler to the Suns. So
Okay, good for him. And that did then they did make a try. I give the Warriors credit for that. If they did that, then that's what they should have done because KD does put you over the top. But that West is so crazy right now. I mean, anyone between 10 and 1 could win that damn thing. I mean, I know the Thunder are the Thunder, but the Thunder still gotta, they still gotta go through the process and it's not easy. And I don't know what the hell the Nuggets are doing. They're just sitting there. I mean, they should have picked up another body at the deadline, but I don't know. They're just sitting back, and I don't know. I don't understand that. I mean, you
yeah,
got the best player on the planet.
I kind of foresee them kind of running into the same problem they had last year. There's just going to
You
be
got the
not enough
best player on
scoring.
the planet. You got to do something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean Murray is always dragging his hurt. You got to get, you should have picked up Schroeder off the freaking scrap heap just to give Murray a couple of minutes. And Schroeder's certainly capable. He's a little bit nutty, but he's certainly capable of running an offense just to give Murray some blow here.
Warriors with Kevin Durant, on his way out there, he did not have the best relationship with Steve Kerr and Draymond Green. So I
Sure,
think that
sure.
also affected KD wanting to not want to go back to that because let's be honest, if they went back to that, Kevin Durant, as far as it pertains to him, and they won, they would still be saying it was back to the Warriors to win. I think he does not want to go through that
I
type
get
of
it.
thing again. So.
I get it, but I really don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I got another fucking ring on my
Well,
hand.
no, I think if he went back there and he did that, I think people would have to give him the majority of the credit because my God, they're just a 500, they're floundering right now at kind of around 500. So the reason why that they won a championship if he went back there and won. But like I said, I
And
think it's the
yeah,
Steve Kerr and Draymond relationship souring.
and
And another
the fact that they're 500, I just would like to repeat that Magic Johnson was never 500. Okay, for all you Steph people, and I'm a Steph person, but it's not even close.
right,
It's just an insult to the game. I know he's flashy. I know he's more exciting than any player today. Because even people would think he's better than LeBron. He's not. I can't stand LeBron. I think he's a big pain in the ass. He's a baby and all other crap, but it's
right,
not the same player.
no,
The one guy can win a game 5 different ways. The other guy wins a game one way. And I
right,
love and Steph is great. He's most entertaining guy today, but that doesn't make you the best player.
no,
And the people who say it never saw Magic. Magic could take 10 shots and dominate a game. This guy doesn't score. He saw the first 2 games of the Olympics. He did nothing.
right, yeah,
Last 2 games, but what about the last two? Well, Magic does something every game. LeBron does something every game. That's why they're better players.
yep,
Now, you
no,
might like Steph better, but when do we lose our fucking mind in the world that liking means factual? No, it doesn't. It means you like. Liking means like. It doesn't mean fact. And this guy is not the same player as those other players.
I
Show me when Magic was 500.
Yeah, I think you also made a great point that the Warriors, I think what's totally underrated is the GMing that they did during those early years with him
Sure.
play. And the rounded out roster, like you said, was just ridiculous. I mean, you had guys that were completely professional and great vets that really were smart guys, like Andrew Bogut and David Lee, Mo Spates, Barbosa, Brandon Rush, Zealy. I mean, the list
Yep.
goes on and on. And that definitely David West, you they eventually added. So it's those kind of guys that round out the team that's what they're missing right now, honestly. And then the last trade, Uncle Dave, we have the Hawks trading DeAndre Hunter to the Cavaliers in exchange for Karis LeVert, George Yang, 3 second-round picks, and they swapped 2 picks there. So Kenny Atkinson, who we both have met, leading the
Yep.
way for the Cleveland Cavaliers at 42-10. And I'm really glad for Coach Atkinson because I think at Brooklyn, I think
Yep.
it's kind of a raw deal what happened with him there. So
Oh, with the Nets, yeah. I just
he's
hate to
showing what a
see.
great coach he is now for sure.
Yeah, I just hate to see. I just hate to see Levert go because I think he's instant offense.
Yes.
DeAndre Hunter though is a versatile player he's a former Wahoo. He's a former Who's from
Yes.
obviously Virginia. He's a stud. Also was absent tonight. They got upset by UMBC, and people forget that. That wasn't a complete team. I know that they still shouldn't lose to UMBC, but people forget that. But the other thing is, this is a guy that's a real pro. He can play several different positions on the floor, and he can definitely lock down defender. I think they gave up a lot, but I guess they wanted to go for it. But then Niang has been okay, and part of me says you're having such a great run right now. Do you want to mess with this? I don't know. Sometimes I'm superstitious that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I think
see.
obviously what this move illustrates is they think they needed just another more powerful punch than what they already have right now going against the
Sure,
Celtics. You have to go through
sure,
more. They're thinking this is risk worth taking. Obviously, they wouldn't have done this
sure.
lightly here. We'll see if it works out for them or not. But obviously,
Yeah, we'll
Cleveland's
see.
in excellent position right now at 42-10, and
Absolutely.
they're rolling. But you know how this goes, though. When the postseason
Oh,
comes,
sure.
Boston's just going to try to lock down here. And I mean, the Knicks are looking good. Indiana is, and Milwaukee. You're just waiting for them to get their crap together. My God, because you
Yep,
still have Damian
yep.
Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo on that team. They're going to be
They
a
got
tough.
rid of Middleton. You saw that?
I did, yeah. So that really does
They,
hurt
they,
them.
they don't win that first championship without Middleton
No,
making
absolutely
impossible
not.
shots. And if
Absolutely
Middleton
not.
doesn't get hurt, they win back to backs. If he
Right,
doesn't get hurt, they win back to backs. It's not even
right,
close.
right.
They
No,
got
that's
hosed.
absolutely true. I think
It's one
he's
of
one of the
those.
really underrated guys, like a Joe Johnson, just a guy that
Yeah,
just
he's 6'7". He's 6'7" two guard, and people forget he doesn't get hurt. They win, and if Baylor doesn't get hurt the same year, they win.
right.
They blow a 25-point lead for freaking North. They able to come back from 25 down to North Carolina, missing two guards. No way. It's not even close. They win, and the Bucks win. Both of those teams going back to back, and both had so many injuries, just killed them. And I'm surprised that the Bucks haven't made another run since. Maybe this year they will. We'll see.
And then, Uncle Dave, we're going to round out with kind of like a fun discussion point topic here with our NBA news here. Kendrick Perkins recently said that he was the leader of the Thunder during the days with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And then Kevin Durant proceeded to tweet out, I've heard a lot of crazy shit this week, but that might take the cake right there. I'm paraphrasing here, but that's basically what he said. So,
Yeah, Kendrick was not the leader. And if Kendrick showed up at all in the NBA Finals, they might have had a shot.
yeah,
Him and the other big guy, Baca, they just didn't do crap. I mean, the freaking jumping bean from the Heat killed him. The Birdman hurt him, and also who was the other kid? 6'8" kid. Was it Bowman or no? What the hell was the other kid's name? It was a good 6'8" jumping bean for the Heat, and freaking Thunder. If
Joel
they could have
Anthony.
made, yeah, exactly. If they could have made a freaking layup, I mean, good God, they could have won, but they couldn't make a layup, and so he was definitely not the leader of that team. Perk likes to talk to hear himself. He's like a
Oh, on
I like
ESPN, he
Perk.
is hysterical, right? Yeah.
I like Perk, but that's insane for him to say that. I mean, he did say that Curry shouldn't be an all-star, and I have to agree with that one. But I do like Perk, but that's a little bit insane. I know he wasn't the leader of that team. That team didn't have a leader. That's part of the problem.
No.
So they were just so young and impetuous that they didn't really have a leader. They're kind of like the Fab Five. They were too young, also.
Yeah. I think that's been proven with Kevin Durant how he's been as
Yeah,
a
he's not a leader.
player. Yeah,
He's not, he's great if you put him with other top dogs because
yeah,
he'll behave himself.
he's just an excellent player that prefers to blend into the background. He's not taking like
Yep.
that
Yep.
leadership role per se. And Russ, I don't think he's kind of wired the same way that way. I don't.
Nah, Russ is crazy, but I love him because he plays hard.
Yeah, and I think what that team could have used is I think a stronger personality for a head coach. I think Scott Brooks a little too mild mannered. I think for that
Yeah,
group.
if you have Pat Riley, you win that thing.
Exactly. Someone like that. Maybe that would have been the difference right there.
Yep.
So
Chuck Daly, Pat Riley, you win
right,
that.
needed a coach like that. Not to say I don't like Scott Brooks, but maybe not the best for that group right there.
Right.
All right, Uncle Dave. So, what do you think with the college basketball scene since we last talked? Some good games today. Boston College, I saw.
Yeah. A couple of things. First, though, this thing that Tom Izzo has tied Bob Knight for the wins. Tom Izzo, I love Tom Izzo, great coach. He's not Bob Knight. I know today in today's world when we play more games than ever and we have these like lifetime achievement statistics, we think that makes someone better. Like LeBron is now the leading scorer of all time. Idiot fans will argue he's a better scorer than Michael Jordan. Well, hey, jackass, it's average. If I give you 10 shots and I get one shot, you're going to get more than I am. Okay, that's just the way it goes. Tom Izzo, great coach, Hall of Famer, love him to death, respect the hell out of him. Not Bob Knight. Bob Knight's got 3 titles. Bob Knight's was in an era where one team made it with 3 titles, 3 NCAA titles at Indiana. Okay, so bottom line is, I love the fact that he tied Bob Knight in Big Ten wins. He's played a lot more Big Ten games than Bob Knight. It's not the same as Bob Knight. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing is, today I hear that, and I love Joe Lunardi, but how the hell could Pitt and Carolina be on the bubble at 7-5 and 5-7, and you have SMU nowhere near the bubble at 9-3? They're all in the same freaking league, and that's where these things drive you freaking crazy. I mean, like, you can give me all the formulas you want. Last year, a couple of these guys missed a couple of picks, so obviously it's changed. Don't tell me that if you're 5-7, you're better than a team that's 9-3 in the same league.
Right.
How the hell is that? How the
It,
hell is SMU not on the ball? SMU has five guys that can score one-on-one. Go watch SMU. Are they not watching SMU? Or did they not think of them as a basketball school? I mean, give me a break. How the hell could Pitt be on the bubble? Now they're 5-7. There's no bubble for 5-7 in the ACC. You're
no.
done. Carolina's had to squeak out 4 wins at home against teams that are inferior. And two of them, they got big help with the ref. I mean, so how the hell could you be on the bubble? And SMU is nowhere near the bubble. SMU is 9-3 in the same league. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
It's only that only holds weight if they're in a lesser league, and maybe you can make that argument. But if they're in the same
Yeah.
conference, you can't at all. Then really,
I
so
mean, this is absurd. I mean, look at this. Look at this league here. Pittsburgh's 5-7, and like I said, I'm sorry, you're not in the bubble at that point. SMU is 9-3. And they're going to get over 20 wins. So I mean, heck, and Wake Forest, you tell me is out, but they're 10-3 in the
mhm.
same league. Is this what you're going to tell me? I mean, this is insane. This is why this Ken Palm and this net crap it's like a bunch of crackheads. That's the two things from college today that just infuriate you.
Is
Duke again today shows that they don't run offense. The
oh
one thing
boy,
I
Uncle
have,
Dave, I remember we had this topic where they're going to run the table in the ACC. I was
nope,
definitely hesitant, and
it's
they
the
showed they
one
were.
problem I have with John Shire. Again, they'll have periods. Again, they did give us Wake Forest 3 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and all these little wuss bags on these Duke fan sites. The minute you bring up a fact, they go, "Well, they won the game anyway." Not the
doesn't
point,
matter though,
jackass.
right? It doesn't
They
matter,
had a
right?
10-minute spurt where they had Con Knipple trying to run offense instead of Proctor or James. And Con Knipple can't get away from me. So the bottom line is you need to run offense. And they went 1 for 11 the first 6 minutes of the freaking Wake Forest in the second half. Everything was one pass and a jump shot or a turnover. They did it again tonight.
Right.
Everything was a jump shot for a period of time. And there you go. And this is my one beef with Shire. He did it last year. And don't forget, this guy's got an amazing winning percentage. When you're at Duke, you're going to win
Yep.
games. We know that.
Absolutely. Yep.
But at Duke, we don't judge you by having a 700 winning
Oh,
percentage. At Duke, we
absolutely.
judge you by Final Fours and national championships.
That's it.
And
Yep.
I love John Shire, big John Shire fan. Watched every game of his career, love him to death. But if you don't get to the Final Four this year, they're going to get a whisper. They're not going to get rid of you because you're winning too much. It's not like Hubert Davis, who's 500 over there. But you're going to get a whisper, and you deserve a whisper.
Yeah.
If you're going to come down and keep getting freshmen and getting pushed around again, they got pushed around tonight by Clemson. Watched every minute of the game. Got pushed all over the floor. Offensive rebounds here. You can tell me you got guys who are sick. Every team's banged up this time of year.
Absolutely. Yep.
Don't want to hear.
I'm sure
Everybody's got
Clemson
an
has guys
ankle.
that are banged up and sick too.
Everybody's got an
Yep.
ankle. Everybody's got a groin. Don't
Yep.
want to hear it.
Right.
So the thing is, you miss Gillis tonight. Whatever you did, you didn't play the kid from a couple of years ago at backup point at all. He could probably made a shot for you. Proctor and Knipple were great in the first half. Didn't do anything in the second half. The stud Cooper shows up late and then does the same spin move again, and it's going to make us another spin move and has the same slippage for 3 travels and 3 lost games they've had this year. Now, does that mean he's not a great player? No, but when you say that, that's a fair criticism. I watched him do it in 3 games this year, all 3 losses. He's
Right.
not a great one-on-one player. So you get down to it, people go, "Oh, well, you can't blame him." Didn't say I blamed him. I'm just pointing out a fact. 3 times with a game on the line versus an older physical team, he's lost the ball and traveled.
Right.
Now, you don't have to like it. That's a fucking fact. He did it with Kentucky. He did it with Kansas, and he did it again tonight.
And the
Clemson
thing,
has all veterans on the floor.
right.
He's got the kid covering him who's like a heavy set Shefflin's a heavy set kid. You can't attack him all night and go around him. Are you kidding me? You're the first pick in the draft. So I know they said maybe he's under the weather, but it doesn't matter. I love Cooper Flagg. He's my favorite Duke freshman since Grant Hill. But the bottom line is this guy is still a freshman. He's 18. He just turned 18, by the way. And if you're going to sit here and put these guys out there versus the big dogs in March, you run into a Houston or somebody like that, or Tennessee manhandled them last year. Again, this is the same profile. You're going to get manhandled.
Yep. I think what
Watch was thrown around like a rag doll tonight.
right. I think what I've talked about it on this show before. I think you've alluded to it and agreed as well. What they're missing is, I think, a true floor general. You don't have that. You don't have a Jay Williams. You don't have a Chris Duhon. You don't have a Bobby Hurley. You don't have someone that's settling the team down when you
I
need.
like James a lot, but James missed a couple of easy ones tonight. I think he's done a great job. They don't play Evans enough. It's just tonight again. Everything is
And Coach
everything's a
Shire,
jump shot for 6 periods.
Coach Shire, too much, I think, as a spectator. You know what I mean? I think there's too much of that, I think, going on a little bit too. I
know today's guy wants to be friends with the players, but you're making about $5 million a year. We don't need you to be a friend.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think it's an absolute concern if you're a Duke fan when you get late in the season in the ACC tournament or the
yeah,
NCAA tournament. Like you said, you
yeah,
play a physical, older team that can give Duke
yeah.
problems.
You run into a Tennessee or a Clemson or a
On
St.
a, yeah,
John's or somebody like
on
that,
a
they're going
neutral
to throw
court.
you around like a rag
Yep.
doll.
On a neutral court, that's going to be an issue for sure.
Last night, St. John's game, a wonderful game, just a blast. So much fun to watch them play Connecticut. I still think though St. John's got to be careful though because when it comes down to it, someone's going to play them a zone. They don't shoot free throws well. They're going to come up to a situation where it's going to get ugly, and it's just going to happen like that. By the way, they said that Arkansas is on the bubble. No, you're not. You're 3-7. I don't want to hear about a fucking bubble at 3-7. I don't care. It's like this D3 thing they did a couple of years ago with the NESCAC. They had a team in the NESCAC make the NCAA tournament that large with a 7-5 record in the NESCAC. I'm sorry. You have to win eventually. 7-5 isn't good enough. In the SEC, 7-5 would be good enough, but you're 3-7.
Right.
You don't get to just lose and say, well, I play good people. I should be in. Bullshit.
Yeah. No.
Bullshit. So
No.
so then that theory, the Bears should have been in the playoffs this year
Right.
at 4-13 because the
Because they
Bears
had
were in
a
the best
strong
division in
division.
football.
Right. Yeah. No, it don't work that
Best record in first division in football history with that situation. So the Bears have made the playoffs? No.
You get a little
Freaking
slack with
Arkansas.
that. You don't get all of it though. You get a
No,
little.
Arkansas is 3-7. They're 3-7. I don't want to hear from you.
Right.
I mean, sorry, you're not in the bubble. I don't care if you like John Calipari or not. I love John
Exactly.
Calipari.
You have to worry
It,
about is it a popularity
we,
contest
we
then
we
with the
have to get
coaches?
back
Yeah.
in this world to start telling the truth, regardless of how you feel about something.
Right.
This team is 3-7. I don't want to hear from them ever again. Texas 4-7, done. Georgia 4-7. All right, they still got a shot. They played a little better. I mean, but you're 3-7. I don't want to hear from you. You're done. Got to make a rule because this is getting ridiculous. If they make the tournament at 3-7 in their conference, I mean, we still got games left, but come on, dude, who are you beating? Half you like you're in now 16th out of 18 teams. I
Yeah.
can't put you in there.
No, absolutely not.
What are you out of your mind? And you could say, oh, well, they got 8 top 25 teams. I don't care. You're not beating any of them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're showing why you shouldn't be in.
So it's funny. You'll use the eyeball test for that, but you won't use it for SMU, who's 9-3 and has 5 legit scorers. Go watch SMU's point guard. Tell me Boopy Miller is one of the best freaking point guards in the league. He'll kick your ass on any given day. He'll just shred your ass.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me that Wake Forest isn't in, but Pitt, who's like 5 games worse than him, is on the bubble. No, sir. I don't care if Pitt beat him head to head. That's one fucking night. I'm just these people are insane. Too many curses tonight, but I really don't care. I'm pumped
That's
up.
okay.
These people are fucking jackasses.
And Uncle
I mean,
Dave, do you think Mark
give me a break.
do you think Marquette will finally fall in the rankings now with another?
Oh my God. Is there any team in America that's allowed to lose more than Marquette? They lost again.
Yeah, they lost by 10 today to
That's
Creighton.
4 out of like 6. Can we
Yeah,
can we
I know.
move them out of the top 11, please?
They're 11th in the country currently.
I mean, Vanderbilt was 24th. They lost 1 game and they're like banned for life now.
I know one of our favorite jokes is the naked pictures, but they definitely must have them.
Oh my God. I mean, what's the agenda with Marquette? I mean,
Right.
what is the agenda? You watch them play. Jones is a terrific player, but after that, you're sitting there going, all
Right.
right, what else we got?
Right.
We like Shaka Smart. Okay,
Yeah.
great. You underachieved at Texas. Okay, great. Took over Anthony Grant's team at VCU. Okay, great.
Yep.
What's the big deal with Shaka Smart here?
Yeah. No,
I
he
mean,
must
give
have
me a
naked
break. I mean,
Yeah, he
holy
must have
shit,
naked
the
photos.
Big East isn't even that good.
Mhm.
Big East is good, but it's not that good. I mean, come
No,
on, dude.
not
Like,
the SEC or the ACC.
no, I mean, you got, you have, and the Big 12, another conference like this. I mean, you got to be kidding me here.
Yeah.
Some of these teams are like, oh, this team's on the bubble. No, they're not. They suck.
Right.
I
I
don't hear
think
about these teams on the freaking bubble.
you've also talked about Uncle Dave how Kansas is bored. Well, they better stop being on board because
Oh
they
my
lost
God,
tonight to Kansas
Kansas.
State. Yep.
Oh my
So
God.
they're seven
If
and
they,
five now in the Big 12. You better be
yeah,
concerned now.
I don't want to see them getting a top 4 seed anywhere. If they're in a 4 line, I'm going to have a seizure. I
Right.
don't want to hear it. What you did on November 8th to Duke is meaningless.
Yeah, means
It's
nothing now.
meaningless.
Means nothing now. Yep.
Now you say, well, it's not fair. You said Duke was lost to a physical team. That's right, because one's a symptom, the other one's a result that has nothing to do with anything else. One's a factual basis. You lost to a physical team. You've lost to 3 physical teams now. The other thing is a problem. What you did in November has nothing as a team as what you did now, but your physical characteristics haven't changed since November. That's the difference. So you could say, well, you can't criticize Duke for that and then criticize Kansas for that. Well, yeah, you can. Kansas is losing games left and right. It shouldn't be a top 4 seed. Beating Duke in November is meaningless.
Mhm.
Duke now is being pushed around against 3 bigger teams.
Right.
And
That's
so that's a fact. You don't have to like it, but it is a fact. And no bigger Duke fan than me. Been
right.
watching him since 1981. Give you the history of Duke on the back of my hand. I don't have to look at it. I know it all. Bottom line is they've been pushed around 3 different times. But if you're on one of these Duke pansy sites, oh my God, how can you say that? Blah, blah, blah. We had the
Yeah, you
16
can't
game
say
winning streak.
yeah, you can't
Doesn't
say a
matter.
negative thing ever, right?
I don't care. Oh, you're not a real fan. Oh, I am a real fan. It's just that some of us have an IQ and a brain.
Right. Yeah, that
It's
doesn't mean my eyes
incredible.
don't work, right?
Yeah. It's the same with the Oakland A's and the Minnesota Viking websites. These people are out of their mind.
Right, right. Yeah. Your
Kept telling
fandom is
people, yeah,
you can't have your
yeah.
fandom blind you. Cannot have it
No,
blind you.
it's ridiculous. And if you're a person who knows sports, and some of us do, because we've been coaching a long time, like you can evaluate differently than mom and pop sitting on the couch eating a bowl of popcorn.
Right, right.
All right. So this Duke team gets jump shot happy, and John doesn't demand offense at certain times.
Yep.
His rotation was a little weird tonight. Okay, but the thing is, you gotta shore this up. This is not the time. It's great to have Brown back. I think they'll be fine. But we always say in March, and everybody thinks it's a cop out, but it's not. It's about matchups.
Hmm.
It always is. And you know what? You get Tennessee in that second round, or you get Houston in the third round. Oh boy.
Right. Yep. 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 Nope. You
Oh
certainly
boy.
do. I think what you mentioned earlier tonight, if Coach Shire doesn't have a deep run this year, there will definitely be murmurs for him. They'll be like, okay,
Yeah,
is this guy a winning? Because he win a championship? That's what's going to be the
yeah, and that's fair.
knock. Yep.
And
It
that's
absolutely
fair.
will be. Yep. Will be.
And that's fair because at Duke, we don't judge like that. Coach K went to 7 Final Fours in 9 years, and he didn't do it with the best talent like Shire has either.
Right.
The team he took in '88 to the Final Four. All right, he had Danny Ferry as a sophomore, and he had Quinn Schneider as his point guard. Okay, Billy King. I mean, they beat the number 1 seed at the Meadowlands, and Mark Macon. Billy King just took them apart. But these were not, this was not the best team. But he kept going back. He went back in '89 with a freshman point guard. He went back in '90 with went back when he went back in '89 with Quinn Schneider again. '90 goes with a freshman point guard. I mean, come on, dude. Like this, Bob Hurley, Christian Laettner, they were freshmen and sophomores. All right. So, you can go back, but this guy went 7 times in 9 years.
Yep. And then that's not to mention all the times Coach K was winning the ACC championships and all that stuff. So I think how he does in the tournament, the ACC tournament, then obviously the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's going to be huge for him this
Now,
year.
I will say, in his defense tonight, Clemson shot the shit out of it. Now, part of that's on Duke,
Yep.
but Clemson shot like 56%.
Yep.
You're not losing too many nights when you shoot 56%. Clemson hit great 2-point shots all night, tough ones. But Duke got pushed around tonight. They were getting peeled off the floor, and the whistle did suck tonight. The whistle was awful, but it wasn't really in Duke's favor. But you know what? I
You
think
got to
they'll
be
be
able
all
to play
right.
past that. Yep. And get
They
past
can
that.
definitely win a national championship. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
saying they can't, but there's some concerns there. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not a homer. I know how to evaluate a basketball team, and there's some concerns there. And I hope they get away with it. I hope they don't have to play a Houston. I hope they don't have to play a Tennessee. But you know what? If you have to play one of those damn mugging teams, the St. John's, who's got men, 24-year-olds, 23-year-olds who are in their 35th year of college, the Randolph Childress market, or
Or in
the Mondo
Alabama.
Baycott, or Alabama. Well, Alabama will run up and down with them, try to score them 100 points. I can live with that.
Right.
It's this other stuff that you worry about, like just the physical man-to-man hand combat. The team that's going to score 60 and hold you to 55.
Yep. And muck it
Yeah,
up.
people forget. 2 years ago, Tennessee threw them all over the place. They just took them and tossed them everywhere. And that team that I thought could have made a deep run and maybe had a national championship got pushed right out. With Derek Lively and those guys, that team was a good damn team. That team got swallowed by Tennessee in the second round. Last year, lose to NC State. Again, the big fella getting pushed all over the place. DJ Burns is killing him. All right. So, and then veteran guards. But again, these bubble stuff is just incredible. And that's the word we're going to be talking about all through February is this bubble crap. But just the Ken Palm and the bubble and the net. It's just the dumbest crap I've ever. You're 9-3 in the ACC. You should be not on the bubble. You should be secure.
Agreed.
Watch SMU play. Do yourself a favor, kids. Watch them. Got 5 guys who can score, and they got a point guard who'll scare you to death. There's no defense keeping him in front. He's the old Wake Forest point guard. He is an old Wake Forest. He's 9-3 there. It's 18-5. They go into the freaking dance. They better be going to the dance. I mean, like I said, 4 full games ahead of Stanford, 8-5, getting no respect. Louisville loses 1 game and now they're out of the top 25. Marquette's allowed to lose 3 or 4. I'll take Louisville over Marquette all day. I mean, NC State lost again today. They're officially done. Virginia had 2 good back-to-back wins, so they'll at least get out of the out bracket game in the ACC tournament. But West Virginia on down in the Big 12. It looks like Iowa State couple of losses, but they had a good one today, a good win.
Yep, good win.
But Kansas is falling apart, and the hottest team is Kansas State. Kansas State now is 6-6 in that league, and about 2 weeks ago we talked about how dead they were, and Coach had a great run 2 years ago. Well, now they're back. It's 3 years in already beaten Kansas in the Daisy game, the Daisy Bowl as they call it.
And this is the perfect time to have your momentum right now heading into March.
Absolutely,
So to get it
absolutely.
right
But
now is great.
yeah, if you look at these conferences, like again, Creighton with a good win today. Really though, really only 4 teams in the Big East should get in. I mean, Xavier is dangerous. If you want to put them in, I'm all right with it. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Georgetown beat a decrepit Seton Hall today, but that's not going to happen for the Hoyas this year. I think Cooley did a great job of scheduling in the non-league, but once he got in the Big East, they've struggled a little bit. They're 6-7. Villanova 6-6, not going to get in there. That lost to Virginia early in the year. If you're going to count November games, and you got to count that game because I was at that game. So it's there's a lot of good hoop left.
How about
Tomorrow
Wisconsin,
there's
Uncle
really
Dave? They're 9-4 in the Big Ten, and they had a nice win tonight over Iowa. So they Wisconsin
well,
Badgers.
this Wisconsin team really scores well. This is a different Wisconsin type of team right now, and Maryland is really hot. Duke has Illinois in a couple of weeks. It's a great scheduling move. Rutgers trying to climb back in at 5-7. Oregon with a tough loss. Michigan State, Oregon had that game in the first half, and now Oregon is 5-6 in the league. And you don't hear them talking about firing Dana Altman, but I guess 5-8, I should say. But Indiana's going to fire Woodson, so that's the difference. The Hawkeyes 4-8. All of a sudden they're impatient with Fran McCaffrey. All he's done is have a win there, but so we can't have that. He's got gray hair, so we got to get him out of there. Ohio State 6-6. Maryland, like I said, is hot as hell. UCLA Bruins after Mick Cronin ripped them, getting a little production, which I love. Michigan State is good. Michigan is good. Purdue is just first class. Matt Painter again proving up, but Braden Smith's probably the best point guard in the country. No one ever talks about him, but he's a stud, absolute stud. Braden Smith.
And how about Ole Miss tonight, Uncle Dave? They avoided a really bad loss at LSU, who's 1-9 in the conference.
Sure.
But Ole Miss gets a tip in late at the game, so
Yep.
here
Ole Miss.
proven they can win. They can win ugly. So Ole Miss getting another W.
Well, I think that the SEC is going to get 10 teams in, but I don't want to hear from Texas or Arkansas, and I love Georgia, but you're 4-7, bro. Sorry, you got to win some fucking games. I don't care. We can't just have this charity shit where, blah blah blah. We're playing a tough schedule. Well, bullshit. You have to win a game to get in, and they really need to make a rule about 500 in your conference. I'm sorry, it's getting to be dog shit.
It certainly
I
is.
mean, I'm sorry. And then it's like that NESCAC a couple of years ago. These teams go 7-5 in your league, and you get in a D3 at large bid. No, absolutely not. There's 500 D3 schools that belong in there ahead of you. Get the hell out of here. I don't care. I don't want to hear your league's the best league. You've got to win some games, or else Jesus Christ. And Eastport South Manor should be in the playoffs. I got Wyandanch, Amityville, and Hills West on my league this year.
Right.
So should I make the playoffs? No. Okay. Well, I played a great schedule. All right, great. It doesn't work like that. You have to win a certain amount of games. That's the way it goes.
And then
Florida showed today that they're legit.
Yep.
So that was good.
Winning. Yep.
That was good for them. But Florida's a weird team, though. I still think the coach is the weak link. Every time I watch him, his body language sucks. I don't think he makes good adjustments. Alabama looked good tonight. You just worry if Alabama ever gets in a half-court game, what's going to happen? It's the opposite of St. John's. If St. John's ever has to shoot a jump shot and make a free throw, you worry. But right now, it's a lot of fun. So again, you hate to say it, it's all about matchups, and this is why people got to do their homework when those brackets come out on what type of tempo people play, what kind of defense they play, all kinds of stuff like that. But there's some great games, coming up in February. I mean, I used to like when they used to do the bracket buster and have those smaller leagues have to play each other. So like tomorrow, Rutgers plays Maryland at noon. Oh, that's it. I mean, that's a nut cutting game for
That's a
Rutgers. I
great
mean,
game.
like,
5-7 and 7-5. That's a big
I
game
mean,
tomorrow.
yeah, I mean, and Villanova's playing Xavier. I mean, Xavier is same record as Nova. I mean, that's a nut cutting game
Yep.
itself.
Another good game. Temple at Memphis too. That's a big game
Yep,
too.
Temple, Memphis. Memphis, another team that is allowed to lose in the worst league in the freaking country, probably for the sub major leagues, and they're allowed to lose too, and get away with it. Ohio State, Nebraska. Nebraska's probably going to lose in triple overtime like every other game. And the game, and then of course Wichita State, which got rid of Greg Marshall, still sucks. So it's good to see that karma coming back to bite their ass there. So people have done a lot worse things than what Greg Marshall did, but hey, he's got suspended. He's out.
Nope. So you got a good slate of games tomorrow before Super Bowl Sunday. So
Yeah,
you'll
nobody messes with
definitely
the
see.
Super Bowl. They're not stupid.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then after that, you know, I mean, it's funny because Clemson lost to Georgia Tech the other night, which is really funny. So Carolina's got to go to Clemson on Monday night. That's a great situation right there. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
And how about tonight,
Then
Uncle Dave? Virginia gets a nice win at home against Georgia Tech.
yes, Tony Bennett ceremony at the half on a banner in honor of Tony, 15 years there. That's a great win versus Georgia Tech, who beat Clemson the other night. Just goes to show you how crazy this world is. But that's why they call this thing at Duke Clemson an upset. It's not an upset. You're
Yeah.
an ACC on the road against a 10-2 team.
Yep.
How's that an upset?
I know.
Do you know where you are? Clemson's got 23, 24, 24 in the back on the roster. I mean, think about yourself at 18 versus 23. It's not even
That's different.
close. You're a
Yep.
man. At 2018, you're thinking about being a man. You don't even shave yet.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just a totally different situation. To call that an upset, yeah, and the ranking is it, yeah, but and Clemson's not ranked, of course, because Clemson's not, they're not allowed to be ranked. I mean, it's just one of those strange situations. So
He'll go down and
again,
Marquette will go up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marquette will be ranked fifth in the morning. I mean, this is the
Like
only
you
team I
said,
know
they've
is allowed to
lost like
lose.
4 out of their last 6, and they're
Yeah, they're just allowed to lose. You just keep losing. It's all right. It's like Kamala. She got to be vice president when she got to run for president, never got a vote.
right. And the primary's got what, less than 1%. So
Yeah, she failed up.
so Marquette definitely continuing to do so. So we'll see what happens, like you
Yeah,
said.
I mean it's a really good time for hoop right now. I mean, it should be fun, you know.
Absolutely. And you have right now going Texas Tech and Arizona at half right now. Arizona's up 2 points. So that's a 13 versus 20 matchup there. So those are two tournament teams right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So we'll see what happens to wind down the season here. So it's definitely a lot of fun stuff here going. And you know what? It was another game today, Uncle Dave. That was these teams aren't going anywhere, but you had a fun game. Boston College and Syracuse today. They went into
Triple overtime.
yep. So that was fun to watch that game
Triple overtime.
for BC.
Yeah. I
Going
mean, triple overtime was good. The thing is, it's two coaches that probably will be out. Um, BC Earl Grant got it going early over there, but just not putting in the resources. And again, he's in a tough spot. He's in a small Catholic school. Never should have left the Big East. They belong in the Big East, but their football made him leave. But now you're going to treat the basketball coach like he should be beating Duke and Carolina because you wanted to play football because the Big East football doesn't really, have the same cachet as ACC football. I get that, but then you have to have a different standard for how you judge the basketball coach.
it's so true. Yeah.
But these alums don't understand that, so they think like, well, I'm an alum. I wear a BC sweater vest, and shit, we should win. No,
If,
that's
if
not how it works.
if Boston College was in the Big East, they would be obviously a much better team than what.
Sure, and it's like at DePaul. I have some hope for DePaul because the old Ohio State coach is there. He does a good job, and they had a good win the other day. And I'm rooting for DePaul to get good again. They haven't been good since like '88, so they were great for a 40-year period. But again, this is not then. Kids don't just stay home anymore. Chicago obviously has a ton of talent, but the thing is, Holman is a good coach. Hopefully, he'll be able to find a way to get DePaul back. He's always been a good coach wherever he's been. He's got a couple. He's got a good transfer now, running the point for him. So that's a positive thing. But at the same time, this is it's tough. DePaul's got to get back on the stick. I mean, it's been waiting for 40 years. I want to see the Blue Demons get good again.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah, in
So
your lifetime, they've sucked. In your lifetime, they've just always
yeah,
sucked.
they've
So
always they've never been a great team, that's for sure.
whereas the first 20 years of my life, they were unbelievable. They're banging on the door to the Final Four every year.
Yep.
And now Now you got guys like Terry Cummings, Mark Aguirre, Dallas Comegys, Rod Strickland. They had great players. Dave Corzine. Now you got nothing. I mean, Jesus, they're just terrible.
So a
So
good slate of games tomorrow before Super Bowl Sunday. So everybody tune into that. We'll
sure.
be watching. So and then obviously we have Super Bowl 59 tomorrow. This is a basketball show, but we'll give our predictions here. Uncle Dave, what do you think tomorrow for Super Bowl 59 with the Chiefs and the Eagles?
Refs won, Eagles nothing.
I think the Eagles, could give the Chiefs problems. Obviously, Saquon, I think, has to have at least close to 200 yards all purpose. So need to have
Sure.
that. Jalen Hurts needs to take care of the ball, but God help us, please. I don't want the Chiefs to win a
Oh
third one
God,
because if that happens, then it's going to be automatically the best team ever and this and that. So
and they're not even close to being the best team ever.
yeah, I know, cannot stand that. So God,
But you know
please.
what's funny though? People say the Dolphins weren't the best team ever, and they were 17-0. So I guess we could get away with it, maybe. But they're not the
Right.
best team ever. But that's all right. They can call them the best team ever. We know the difference. The '70s Steelers, the '80s 49ers. I think would or the '90s Cowboys. I think would
Or even the
whoop them. But
Patriots after that just got done with their run. You could argue
sure,
that. So Jesus.
sure,
All right, folks, all basketball fans out there. All right. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you.
sir. Take care.